LEGO YouTubers, Builder13 here again. As my last video said, I finally got a train. So, I decided to start with my first train mock. I'm gonna show you all the way around it. And then I will put in the description what it's a mock of. I don't know if it's a good mock, but it's my very first mock, and it's a vehicle that I've always wanted to build, even before I got the train set. Never had a train track, but I've always wanted to make this, either in live steam scale, or something to run on a 7 1/4 or 7.5 track, but I finally got to it, but I got to it in Lego form, which is really something I couldn't have guessed a couple years ago, but here it is. This is a mock, and I'll show a real picture of it, but this is a 1917 protected model 40 horsepower locomotive. This little motor was used during World War I to move ammunition, troops, food, you name it, all the way from behind the lines, behind the reach of artillery, all the way to the front lines, to the trenches of World War I. This little engine was used primarily because the roads were too bad for trucks to get down when it was wet, and of course everybody's seen the horror stories of World War I in the wet. Everybody had trench foot and everything, so trucks couldn't get to it. Of course, tanks, to get that far, tanks were in their infancy. That was the first war with an official tank. Either it was a Mark or the German A7V. They weren't used as moving troops or munitions or anything. They were self-sustaining kind of machine gun nests is all they were. So the third thing they had of true tested vehicle was a train. Now this little train could run on narrow gauge tracks. It actually did run on narrow gauge. It could travel across the muddy plains because the tracks were pre-made in 10-foot sections, and the men could just walk out, clip them together, nail them together, and set out another 10 feet. Now the other reason this little train was used, rather than using, oh, I forgot to say, this train is gasoline powered. It's a 40 horsepower gasoline. And why it was used is because little steam engines could be seen at night from the glow of their exhaust. So this little motor had a very large muffler on it to silence it, and it could run at night. The armament was really thin. A very powerful rifle at close quarters could shoot right into it. Now this is a protected model. There's different versions. There's an open version, which was just the motor and a frame and the two wheels. Then there was this one, which had sides on it, but not completely enclosed. And then there's another one that was fully called armored, and it just had porthole slits in it that all you could see. Now this little train only held one person, maybe two if you were desperate. So this little motor is very small. But, unfortunately, making it on a narrow gauge train track for Lego, I didn't think was really practical. Eventually, I plan on hooking it onto a train and just towing it behind, just as a curiosity piece. But it was supposed to be run on narrow gauge, and of course, this Lego narrow gauge is really small. And it's only got curves and, hills. So, I decided to make this wider so it would run on Lego standard gauge. So you can see, let me put it up here, that is compared to my speed train. So, little mock, really like it. There is a motor on it. I put a motor inside just for aesthetic looks. There's a little stick shift, but other than that, that's it. It is only forward and reverse. I don't even think it had a transmission I think it was 1 speed, so like an overdrive is all it had. So this is my 1917 Simplex protected locomotive. It had a Dorman 4JO petrol motor in it, is what pushed this little thing along. It could pull 4 or 5 little freight cars. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a nice day.